I'm William Stewart. Welcome back to our verse by verse study on the book of Philippians. I'm so glad you're here today. We start the last chapter. It's gone quickly. Such a wonderful book. We're in verses 1 to 3 today, and the topics are a little split. The first verse really is a finishing verse to chapter 3, where Paul has talked about his own attitude towards the faith, service unto death, as it says in chapter 1, to live as Christ, to die as gain. He expands on this in the first half of the chapter and really beyond. And then he encourages the Philippians to have much the same attitude in service and righteousness, realizing then at the end of the chapter that we have a spot in heaven and our citizenship is in heaven. So he starts verse 1 in chapter 4 saying, "Therefore, otherwise based on everything I just told you, Philippians, my brethren, dearly beloved and longed for," interesting word, long for, very unusual, epipothethoi, epipothethi, that's not easy to say, sorry. In the original Greek, the longed for ones, the desired ones, uh, and long for my joy, my crown. So, wow, it shows the appreciation, the emotion, and the love that God has for these people whom He led to the Lord, starting with His second missionary journey. Good example for all of us in the attitude that we take towards people with whom we teach in the ministry or even fellowship in the ministry. He then says, "So stand fast in the Lord, my dearly beloved." Otherwise, based on everything I just told you, my life, your life, our spot in heaven, stand fast in the Lord. Good advice. I pray we all do that. Verse 2 and 3. He then changes the topic and comes to a series of personal notes. A number of these are quite powerful. In verses, excuse me, I'm sure you already know. I beseech Euphodius and beseech Syntyche, two women in the congregation, that they be of the same mind of the Lord. Again, the word phroneo is used, this diaphragm word, where we get the word in English diaphragm, which was to the Greeks the seat of ethics, the truth, um, knowledge, decision making, on which the heart was based, the person's character. And he urges them to think the same way. Again, there's been a theme of unity in this book, particularly in chapter 2, and reflected some in chapter 3. And he mentions it then with Euodias and Syntyche also. He continues, "And I entreat thee also, true yokefellow, help these women which have labored with me in the gospel, with Clement also, and with other fellow laborers whose names are in the book of life." So he urges the congregation to gather around them, these precious women who have helped him in the ministry and to help them work out, resolve whatever differences they have. Paul, as typical, doesn't name those differences. Only in sort of extreme cases does Paul name the problems specifically that people have. He very graciously provides solutions. And here, Paul is suggesting that other people help them resolve their differences. Again, keeping unity in the church is so important, and it takes an active, thoughtful commitment, as Paul has shown here. Interesting, this is the only place outside of the book of Revelation the book of life is mentioned in the New Testament. Okay, what have we learned today? Stand fast in the Lord. We have a position in heaven that is great and glorious. So let's stay the course to the end. Strive to be unified and do this actively, looking for solutions to help people work together, whether it be yourself or other people that you know. Consider other people around you, other Christians, as precious and valuable. Thank you for joining me today. You won't want to miss next time. We'll get into some great verses. I'll look forward to seeing you then.